Okay, so first of all, everybody, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself so we don't hear extraneous noises. Second of all, this meeting, this April meeting of the CCRA Zoning Committee is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, you can leave now, but otherwise you are going to be recorded. The CCRA Zoning Committee is a 72, probably 73-year-old nonprofit organization. Everyone is welcome to become a member. If you're a member, you'll be notified of all zoning changes and proposed zoning changes within our area. We are the recognized community organization for this area. Our boundaries are South Street to JFK, Broad to the Schuylkill River. Our committee works as follows. We ask the applicant to address the specific refusal or referrals. We ask that no interruptions as the applicant give their full presentation. After the presentation, the zoning committee will have a chance to ask questions. After the zoning committee's questions are completed, we will open the meeting to the community. When addressed, we ask that you state your name, address, you keep your questions succinct to the variance being discussed. We also ask that people do not repeat others' questions. If you agree with someone's position, you are welcome to stand and simply state that you agree. If there's a spokesperson for the neighbors, we ask that that person stand, actually you can say seated for Zoom, and speak for the group. After we hear from all the applicants, our committee meets in a closed session. We vote in 3 ways: oppose, not to oppose, not to oppose with provisos. CCRA never votes in favor of an application. Our decision is emailed to the council person, the ZBA, and the applicant. Important, this actually really is important. No matter how we decide, if you are concerned with the project, we strongly recommend that you attend the ZBA hearing. They're the ones that make the final decisions. So they're the ones you really have to hear your voice if you have something that's important to you to say. ZCA Zoning Committee cannot express their neighbor's point of view. Only the property owner or aggrieved individual may express their personal concerns to the ZBA. With that said, our first applicant is 2324 Waverly Street. The hearing, we have a typo in there. The hearing date is 5/12/21 at 2 p.m. Is that correct, Wade?
That's my understanding. It's on 5/12.
Charles, is that the date? You can nod, Charles.
Yep, that's the date.
Okay, so the ZBA hearing date is 5/12 at 2 p.m. So the application is for the legalization of an existing non-compliant roof deck to replace the wearing surface of the deck and the rails. The first refusal is the fence or guardrails used to enclose the roof may not exceed 42 inches in height, whereas the existing height is 45 inches. The setbacks, roof decks must be set back at least 5 feet from the extreme front building line, whereas the existing setback is 0. Okay, now time for Charles and Sharis, if she's here, to present. Whoever wants to present for this case.
I'll do the presentation, Sam. Thank you, and thank you to the committee. Bob and Rachel Duplessis are also on this this call if you have any questions for them as well. They purchased this property, I believe, back in 2003, and when they purchased the property, the deck was in place. Sam, are we going to share the presentation, or is that something I do, or what's the?
You will make it so.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
It's pretty simple, but anyway, it's an existing. We'll have some photos up there. It's an existing 3-story masonry building with an existing 2-story masonry addition, and it's 100% lot coverage on a 15-foot by 50-foot lot. As I said, the deck was in place when they purchased the property, and then the refusal. I think everybody has a copy of the refusal, but the refusal states on the bottom that since they were unable to locate an existence of any permitting for this project. This is why L&I has refused it, although they acknowledged that the deck was in place at least in 1994. As I think most everybody might know.
Janice, can you make it so Charles can share the screen?
I did.
Okay.
Are you having trouble, Charles?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to share the document, but I can do it.
We've been letting the applicants share present their own.
Okay, no problem. Didn't know that. Thank you. Give me 1 second.
Yep.
Okay. I assume everybody can see that?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Sorry about that, Sam. I didn't.
It's okay. Different from when the last chairperson, co-chair ran it.
Yeah. So let me get one other thing up. Sorry. So the property's on the corner 24th and Waverly, and as I was saying, that the zoning code changed in 2012, and that was when the 5-foot setback regulation came in for decks, and this deck was in place prior to that. So anyway, this is the corner lot, 2324 Waverly Street. Here's the photograph one that's looking at the building on the corner. You can see the 2-story addition in the rear with the deck, the existing deck rail on top.
We're only seeing your original satellite photo.
Really?
Really? Sometimes there's a little delay, but.
Uh-oh.
Try again, anything?
Now we're not seeing anything, but let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
Never had that happen before.
It's always something fun.
I do have a note that says my screen sharing is paused. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
I would stop share and then try again.
Try again. All right.
And if it doesn't work, I'll just share my screen.
Okay.
There we go.
And if I scroll through, are you seeing that?
Yes.
All right. Very good. This is the second page. This is just showing the property on the corner. It's a 3-story brick building. You can see the 2-story brick addition that was existing that's in the back, and the existing deck that's been up there for more than 20 years. Just walking down 24th Street, here's another view, more head-on view, and then this is the view from the corner of Lombard and 24th Street. I'm sharing the 3rd floor floor plan, which shows how you get to the deck from the 3rd floor. You can see it's through a door that's close to the 24th Street line. You can see where the bathrooms are, and you know, again, all of this work was done prior, and so trying to comply with a 5-foot setback would require significant renovation of this of their 3rd floor just to get out onto their deck, which is relatively small. Again, here's an elevation showing the deck and the existing configuration. The scope of work that we want to do is really just to replace the wearing surfaces of the deck and of the deck rail. And because we were concerned that if we started working on the deck, that somebody might be worried that we were building a new deck, is why we wanted to legalize it and go through zoning and get a permit, a zoning permit for the project. As normal maintenance work, we wouldn't be required to get a building permit at all, but from a zoning point of view, we wanted to make sure that we were in a good position to do that work. These are a series of the archival photographs that are available on the atlas that show images from 1996. It's a little bit difficult to tell whether that's a table on a deck, but as you look into 2004, 2008, you can see a deck with table and chairs on it. 2010 and 2012, and again 2012 is when the zoning regulation changed about that 5-foot setback. So I think that's pretty much it. We're trying to legalize an existing condition. We have 2 refusals. The refusal for the rail, I think we would be quite happy to accept a proviso that we would cut that rail down to make it comply, to take the 3 inches off as a part of, you know, just putting new rail surfaces up there and new deck surfaces. And as I said, the condition of the 5-foot setback would be difficult for us to comply with. And as noted, it was an existing condition prior to the zoning regulation change. So that's it.
Okay, you can stop sharing now, please. Okay, we'll go through the committee. Evan, you have any questions? Oh, no, okay, that's good. Ben Z?
No.
Okay, Doug Miller?
Have they gotten letters from neighbors objecting or approving?
We have one letter that I forwarded to Sam this morning. We received it over the weekend. That was a letter that came from a neighbor on Lombard Street that was in support of the project. During COVID, it's a little bit more complicated to go door to door and try to talk to neighbors, but neighbors, the immediate neighbor on Waverly Street, which they share the party wall with, has spoken with Bob and Rachel, and has said that he takes no objection, has no objection, and supports it. I believe they've heard from some other neighbors on Lombard Street that would look onto it, who have take no exception to it. And the neighbor that lives directly across 24th Street, who looks at this deck, also takes no exception. I've asked a number of them to send us an email just to say that, but we haven't received anything from them. But we do have the one letter that we forwarded from a neighbor who's, I think they're right behind them.
Okay, we have that. Ben, anything else? Or Doug, okay, Ben W. Nope, okay, Michelle? Nope, okay, Veronica? Robin? Where's Robin? Just can't see Robin or here. Okay, Janice, do you have any questions?
All set.
I just have one. What material are you going to make the rail out of, the new rail? Do you know?
We're working on that with them. We're not, you know, we've been talking about wood, we've been talking about a panel, but, you know, whatever we do is going to comply with, you know, the requirements of the zoning code.
Okay. Maybe upgraded from pressure treated or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. We're looking at EPA for the decking at least, and possibly on the rails. So it's going to be a nicer wood product on there.
Okay, that'd be good. Okay, are there any members of the public who have something to say about this project? Okay, Martin Kelly and the woman raising her hand.
Yeah, we live at 2327 Lombard Street. We're probably the only property facing them that has a deck at the same level, so we overlook their property. We can support the fact we bought our house in 2005, and their deck was in place at that time and looked as though it had been in place for a significant amount of time before that. We have no problems. The deck's very in keeping with the neighborhood. It doesn't cause us a problem. And just also to say, we have no pre-existing relationship with the people who are requesting this. But yeah, we support them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for showing up and supporting them.
Thank
Is there
you.
anyone else who would like to speak about this? Okay. Thank you for your presentation.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Janice. Thank
Yep.
you, committee.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is a referral, not a refusal, for 1910 Chestnut Street. The hearing date is 6/23/2021 at 2 p.m. The application is for a takeout restaurant at space C, D, and E on the first floor of the same building with other uses as previously approved. No sign on this application. The referral is a supplemental use in the Center City District overlay. The proposal for takeout restaurant is a special exception to Chestnut and Walnut Street area west. Who's going to be presenting for this?
Hi, good evening. This is Dina Bleckman from Ballard Spar for the applicant.
Okay. And Janice, can you give Dina, you want to share your screen?
I'm here with my colleague, David Guest, who I believe will be sharing his screen.
Okay. We'll make him active.
Ready.
Thanks. I'll let you know when I see the screen sharing ability.
Oh, you can go ahead. It's in my screen, it's checked. Multiple participants can share.
Great. Okay. Do you see it right now?
Do.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for having us. So we're here for 1910 Chestnut Street on behalf of the applicant Pearl Properties. I'm sure you're all familiar with this property. This is the Harper. And specifically, we're discussing the 3 commercial spaces along the Sansom Street frontage. So for clarification, the property's address is officially listed as 1910 Chestnut Street, and that's the address that's provided in the notices that you received by mail. But we're specifically speaking about the premises along Sansom Street, which you can see in this slide with this red box, as opposed to along Chestnut Street. And the applicant is proposing to take out restaurant uses. In these spaces, you'll hear a bit more about those uses in a few minutes. But as mentioned, the Harper is in the Chestnut and Walnut Street area west zoning overlay district, and the takeout restaurant uses require special exception approval. And the standard there is that the proposed use have no detrimental impact on the neighborhood in terms of health, safety, and general welfare beyond what you would normally expect from that use. So here, a takeout restaurant. With us, we have representatives from Pearl Property as well as from their proposed tenants, Cook and Solo restaurant partners. So I'd like to turn it over to them to discuss some of the background about the project, some of the operational details about the spaces, and then we're all very happy to answer any questions you may have. And
Great.
I believe, Reed, great.
Sure. Why don't I take it? Thank you, Dina. And thank you, members of the committee, for your time tonight. I believe most of you are probably familiar with the Harper. So I won't go into too much detail. We've been before the committee and before CCRA a number of times over the last many years. And Jim Perlstein and I are very excited about bringing Steve Cook and Michael Solomonov's Fed Donuts and Goldie's to the Harper. As Dina mentioned, it's along Sansom Street. David, if you can tick through the presentation, those are some pictures of the Harper, just so you can be reminded of the quality of the project that we've created. You can keep going for us, David. As Dina mentioned, we're talking about the retail along Sansom Street. We already have Barry's Boot Camp, which is adjacent to these spaces as you go west, and Bucky Wellness Center, which is the last space on the west side. So this would be completing the zoning. David, you can keep going there if you want to tick through to the next. Keep going. I think we mentioned the referral already. These are some photographs so that you understand the space that we're talking about. And this is a site plan. So I wanted to just point out for you, as you may recall, as part of the Harper, the yellow spaces are the 3 spaces. As you come along Sansom and then over to 20th Street, It's not highlighted, but where David's got the cursor, right at entry, we created a large shared loading and trash facility, which is going to be servicing these spaces. We already service pretty much every user on the block. We have our Target, we have our other retail spaces, we have the Harper, we have Kate's Place, we have 1920 Chestnut and Veda. And it's been a real success in terms of managing trash and traffic. There's going to be no additional loads placed on this use by Steve and Mike's operations, since we already have the facility set up. David, if you want to go to the next slide.
This is just highlighting the loading.
There you go. Yep. So now you can see the loading and it's highlighted. And again, that's all interior stored trash. All trash will and loading will occur. Deliveries will occur through that space. So there'll be no added burden along Sansom Street, and will allow us to continue the first-class nature of the retail that we're providing there. And then these are elevations of the storefront itself, Goldie's and Fed Donuts, which I believe you're familiar with. And I thought I could turn it over at this point to Steve Cook, who can talk a little bit about Fed Donuts and Goldie's and their operation and their plans for the space.
Thanks, Reed. So we're looking at this at the storefronts. We had for almost 10 years, we had a Federal Donuts located at 1632 Sansom that they're currently in the process of demolishing that parking garage for new development. And so the opportunity to work again with Pearl Properties in a building that we already know from our tenancy at Far around the corner on 19th Street was really exciting. The old Federal Donuts was a 600 square foot shoebox, and we feel like this is really a flagship location for us. And at the same time, we'll be relocating Goldie next door. Again, another concept that we debuted on the 1500 block of Sansom Street that has been really well received. So we wanted to create a flagship location of that as well. We're already tenants in the Harper. We already have a good working knowledge of loading and trash and sort of the neighborhood and have a great partnership with Pearl Properties, and really just plan to continue to run these concepts like we run their counterparts and all of our other restaurants throughout the city in a first-class manner, and hopefully providing some activation along that block of Sansom Street, and connecting that corridor and activating it.
Yeah, and if I can also jump back in, Steve and Mike will be very modest about this, but as everybody knows, Kafar has been a tremendous addition to the neighborhood, and these are very, very challenging times that we're all experiencing. So it's a big investment that we're making as our Cook and Solo, and we don't take it lightly. We're very excited about it, and having the opportunity, frankly, to have such a quality operator who are able to deal with these challenging times and look towards the future, which we're all trying to be optimistic about and are excited about as we see things get back to normal. So, we think it's going to be a fantastic addition to the neighborhood.
So, Reed, there are a few more site plans and things. If you,
yep,
yes, I can. Oh, well, okay, there we go.
Right. So, Steve, maybe we could just high level kind of explain the layout of the two stores.
Sure. And the right side of this drawing, to the right is Federal Donuts. There's an entrance that you have a direct line of sight to our donut case, to our glass donut display case, and then an ordering counter where we've in our most recent iteration of Federal Donuts, we've expanded the beverage program to do more full service coffee, espresso drinks, and the like. And we've got, I think, about 22 seats in here, kind of trying to incorporate some of the lessons of the last year in terms of giving people, providing space for people to not be shoulder to shoulder, providing space for mobile ordering, pickups, and really getting people in and out of the space quickly and efficiently. A little bit of a different layout to the left side on Goldie, where you come in. We have a storefront that opens right there where the cursor is, trying to again provide a lot of space and air and kind of adapt to the way that restaurants have been surviving for the last year, which is really a transition to a lot of pre-orders and pickups. And you saw the renderings of the storefront, but as Reed said, we're both making a big investment in this, and I think the stores are really going to look fantastic. And if you're familiar with Federal and Goldie as we have them now, these are going to be sort of elevated interiors and kind of represent the new model and a flagship for us going forward.
Steve, do you want to just mention, I guess, for the benefit of the committee, what your sense right now is on your hours, your plans for hours of operation?
Sure. I mean, we're sort of crawling back on our other stores to our pre-COVID hours, but generally speaking, Federal Donuts is a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. operation, and Goldie is an 11 a.m. to 7 or 8 p.m. operation, depending on the time of year.
Great. And then I guess, David, if you want to tick from there, we have some just some additional background just to remind everybody of some of the projects that we've done in the neighborhood. And as Steve mentioned, we've partnered with Steve and Mike. We had the benefit and pleasure of partnering with them on a number of restaurants in both in this neighborhood and others. And these type of partnerships are really important to the ability for us to be on the same page in terms of the quality of the operation that we want to execute on. And we have a lot of trust level that between the two groups, that we can make sure this is in keeping with the neighborhood and a real asset and amenity. So Dina, I think I'm not sure that we have. Are there any other items you want to cover?
I think that's it on our end as well. If there's questions, I think we're all happy to answer those.
Okay, we'll go through our list again. Thank you for that presentation, and we're all familiar with the restaurants, I'm sure. Start with Robin. Are you here? No, I don't see Robin. Okay, Veronica.
Thank you. No questions.
Michelle.
Yeah, my only question is regarding all of the restaurants now in the Philadelphia area and many more that have outdoor seating, tables and chairs on the sidewalk. That's because of COVID, but I have a sense that many of them will maintain those structures if licensed to do so after COVID is over. Do you have any thoughts about whether you would be doing that or not, and whether the width of the Sansom Street sidewalk would comfortably allow that if you choose to do that?
Well, my understanding of the current structures that are everywhere, that they're permitted through the end of this year, and at least the ones that we've built are not really built probably to last that much longer. We wouldn't look to do, we would look to apply for sort of traditional sidewalk cafe seating, like tables and chairs on the sidewalk, but we have no intention to apply for any streetery or semi-permanent structure here.
So for just tables and chairs on the sidewalk, do you think the sidewalk can sufficiently accommodate that along with pedestrian traffic?
I believe it's wide enough there, but to be honest, we haven't done the survey yet to make that application.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ben W. Okay, Doug.
No questions.
Ben Z. Ben Z. Any questions?
I was muted. No questions.
Okay, Evan.
No, thank you for the presentation, though.
Okay, Wade.
No questions.
Okay, Janice.
Yeah, I just was curious about the signage scope. Are the signs in the application? Are they part of your of what you're,
They're not on this application.
right. What, did the renderings represent what you plan to do for signs?
Yes.
I guess I was wondering why they weren't included, but it's fine. It's going to be wonderful.
Okay. Is there any members of the public that would like to ask questions? Hearing none. Okay, Michael, you got any recipes you want to share with us? Your TV show was nice.
A ton of recipes for you all.
Okay. Okay. Then thank you for your presentation. And we'll vote, and we're going to go into private session, and we'll let you know what the outcome is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Actually, hold on. And before we go, I hope we didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't believe this question was, did you go into the provisos, Sam?
Oh, actually, I did send them. You're right. I have them up, ready to go. Okay, actually, that's a good thing. Let me just go. Okay, provisos that I did send to your attorney, and there she is, Dinah. No amplified music that can be heard outside the restaurant. Is that acceptable? I need someone to give me an affirmative answer here.
Yeah, that's, yes.
Okay. Okay, so all your trash is going to be sealed in the building. Your deliveries all come into that enclosed space, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So there'll be no deliveries on the street.
Correct.
Okay, good answer. The trash goes out through the back. No dumpsters. Sorry. Okay, and ventilation, how's the ventilation work in this building?
Kitchen? We talking about kitchen
Yeah,
ventilation?
kitchen ventilation.
We're installing a precipitator, which is sometimes called a scrubber, to deal with the exhaust. So it'll be treated before it's exhausted.
Okay, and then I think the one more, will the paper goods that are going to come out of the restaurant be labeled with the name of the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, I think that covers it, Wade.
Yeah, so it sounds like the standard provisos that CCRA will that we ask takeout restaurants to agree to. It sounds like that there is no objection on on your part to agreeing to these. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, now we'll go into closed session. Thank you. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Thank you all.